Welcome to day 3 of Vintage Style Lantern Week on the Pardon My English channel. If you missed day 1 or day 2, check those videos out. We checked out a couple lanterns from Bare Bones. But if you did watch those and you're thinking, man, I really want something a little bit more practical and affordable, this might be a good option for you because this is perhaps the best value vintage style lantern that I will be reviewing this week. This is the EverBrite Vintage Style Camping Lantern. As you can see from its design, it can be sat on tabletop or on a surface or hung by the top as well, the little handle. This thing almost certainly has a 18650 rechargeable battery in this tube here. Haven't taken this apart. I've taken apart one like it, and that's what was in that tube. But yeah, it's got 2000 milliamp hour capacity, can be recharged via USB-C. There's the port right there. That USB-A port on top is an out port. So you can use this lantern as a power bank of sorts. Now, it's not gonna do anything crazy for you, but in a pinch, if you did need to top off a device, give you a little bit of charge, you could use this. And then yeah, the operation, pretty simple. Right here from the top, this knob is actually a dial. You'll just twist it, and that's what turns on the filament style LEDs. And if you twist it some more, you will ramp up the output. So it's dimmable. Gets about this bright, and then it switches over to a white light LED. And then from here, if you keep twisting, it will also ramp up this output as well. And then at a certain point, you can see the filament LEDs kick on as well. So it does both. So you do get quite a lot of light. You're seeing a lot of artifacts here. That's from the plastic globe and the wire. So you do get a lot of kind of shadows in the light itself. From any sort of distance, you don't really notice that as much, but that's just something to point out. So that's the main gist of this lantern. One of the cool things about it is the price. I mean, like I said, one of the more affordable options that we'll take a look at. So if you just like this form factor, this look, and you want to get into it without breaking the bank, this would be what I'd recommend. And it comes in a 2-pack, and right now on Amazon at the time of recording, the 2-pack goes for $39.99. So gonna get about $20 a piece. Once again, the 2-pack. You do, because you save some costs on this particular type of lantern, there is a sacrifice in materials. This dome, it looks metal, but it is not. It is plastic. Seems to be a good quality type of plastic, and it doesn't look it, which is nice. This wire part is metal, but the globe is plastic as well. Here's a look at the underside. You can see those white light LEDs on the top, the filament style LEDs right there. So yeah, and I think these are available in white as well. So if you like this look, but like a whiter top, that's available as well. Without further ado though, let's get this outside, compare the beam. It is a little bit hard with a camera that auto adjusts and stuff, but I'll show you the best I can what kind of light this thing puts out. Okay, I took some photos to start off with because the auto adjust on the camera really makes getting an idea of the illumination hard. But yeah, as you can see, we've got the warm white, cool white, and combo illumination right here. So these are on the max setting possible on each mode. And yeah, here's a little video of me turning this light on. The problem with video is if the camera gets the LEDs directly in frame, you get this terrible glare, and you can't really tell what's going on illumination wise. I try to back up and get the LEDs off camera here in a moment to give you a better idea. But yeah, even with that, the auto adjust on the camera, it's just not the same as being in person, but I'm giving you the best idea of the amount of illumination you get on max of each mode as possible. Now, each mode is dimmable. So on cool white, warm white, or both cool and warm white, you can dim the switch, that rheostat switch up top, to kind of dim it to your preference. Now the lows each don't get super low. The lows are still fairly bright, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, for its size, it does put out a good amount of light, and considering that this thing comes in a 2-pack, you could really spread these out and cover a large area, no problem. Maybe one in a tent, one outside a tent, or if you've got a cooking setup going on, or an awning or something of that nature, you definitely can get a good amount of light from these, which I do like. Some of the other smaller lanterns we'll look at later in the week, you know, they're cool, but they don't put out practical amounts of light for a large enough area. This, I think, is very usable for camping or, you know, doing anything outside where you need a little extra light. So yeah, pretty cool. The max runtime you'll get on these is 60 hours, according to EverBrite, and it takes about 3.5 hours to fully charge this from empty, these lanterns. So there's a couple other stats to keep in mind, but yeah, as far as like a lantern that can kind of flex into multiple different use cases, like a hanging lantern, like I said, you could hang this from the inside of a tent. You know, head clearance is at a premium in a tent, so you could bonk on this a little bit. It would hang a little bit lower. The weight's not too bad though. It not being made out of metal helps with that. And then yeah, same thing, tabletop. You could definitely use it as a tabletop lantern, and the shade is nice, so you wouldn't get light like directly. You wouldn't be looking directly at an LED. You'd be looking at the light it produces, which is what you want from a lantern. So that's all good. So do I think it's amazing at any one role? No, but it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none type of design, in my opinion. What could make this thing even better? In my opinion, there are 3 things that could make this lantern better. First of all, if there were a way to easily swap out the battery, I imagine that the 18650 in here is soldered to some wires to connect. That's how the other lantern I mentioned before, that'll come up on the channel later this week, that's how that battery was in here. I imagine it's the same here, but yeah, if it did have a replaceable 18650, just took a standard 18650, that would be really cool, because then you could just take a couple of those with you, swap them out to keep your lantern running if you needed to burn it for a while on high. That's just a small suggestion. Another thing, whenever this lantern's on, no matter if it's on the dimmest output, these battery status illuminators remain on the whole time. And this vintage look is really cool. I like the glow of those filaments. So this kind of just kills that mood for me. Like, it's very modern blue LED coming from the top right there. Always on, like I said, doesn't go off. I think it would be cool if that shut off after a few seconds so that you could get an idea of your battery status when you turn it on. But this can be easily remedied. I'm just going to put a little piece of black electric tape over that. That'll be just fine. And I imagine we'll be able to see the LEDs through that tape a little bit. Matter of fact, let me try it. Okay, I've got very thin electric tape here. We're gonna see just how well this works. I'm hoping to be able to see the LEDs through this. That might be impossible. Okay, so yeah, it does completely black it out, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on who you are. Can't get a good idea of the battery status this way, but at least those glowing lights don't, you know, kill the mood that this thing provides really well other than that. So that'd be one solution, just put a timer on those battery status LEDs. The final thing I'd change about this would be some more waterproofing. Now, this lamp does have this gasket port cover right here, but it doesn't really have an official water rating that I could find. So I just want to make sure this thing could get rained on, at the very least IPX4, ideally higher, but you know, for the money, can't really complain too much. So that's going to do it for my 3 minor gripes for this lantern that could make it even better. Well, I think that's going to about do it for this video. Those are my thoughts on this lantern. Cool form factor. I think it does a lot of things pretty well. Nothing amazing though. And yeah, I do think there are some improvements that can be made to it. However, for the price, if you do want to just get your foot in the door with this vintage style lantern look, I think this is a good option. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below though. And if you answer yes, you know, you do think this is worth it and you do want to pick one up, I'll leave a link in the description of the video to pick the 2-pack up of this if you do want to. Stay tuned for day 4 of Vintage Style Lantern Week. We're going to take a look at this mini lantern from Pinsai. All metal construction, got a cool spirally LED going on here. Very low CCT, or in other words, very warm light tint on this one for sure. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Hope you have a good rest of your day. God bless. Take care. Bye.